I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. In 2 clinical studies, Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, provided 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks in 7 out of 10 adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. In a study, nearly 7 out of 10 patients with 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks were still clearer at 5 years. At 1 year and thereafter, patients and healthcare providers knew that Tremfya was being used. This may have increased results. Results may vary.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms of infection, including fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Tell your doctor if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Learn more about Tremfya, including important safety information at tremfya.com or call 1-877-578-3527. See our ad in Food and Wine magazine. For patients prescribed Tremfya, cost support may be available.
Days. And then once I was in college, it was like, okay, like this is a real thing. Like my brother had moved on to play in the NFL, and I was like, okay, I might have a shot. Like let's not mess this up. And so, I think going all the way back, like our parents were incredibly supportive of anything that we did. And I specifically remember my dad from a very young age telling us, like, whatever you want to be in life, like we'll find a way to make it happen. Like it doesn't matter if you want to be an attorney, doesn't matter if you want to be a musician, doesn't matter if you want to be an athlete. Like whatever you want to do, like we will figure it out. We will find a way. And it was sort of that level of support from them that I think set the course for both my brother and myself to make it to where we are. And then to turn around going on 5 years later is just mind blowing. My brother's going on year 9 in the league. I'm going on year 5. And with the draft having just passed, it's like, man, how in the world have we both been blessed enough to be able to do this for as long as we have? And like, they pay us to show up. Like we don't have to have like a pass to get in the building. Like like we have to be there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
You know what I mean?
And so I'm excited to talk about the football stuff, and even you and your brother. I mean, it's unbelievable what as brothers do. I do want to back up a little bit. I want to go all the way back.
Yeah.
You grew up in Smyrna.
Yeah.
Smyrna.
Yep.
Smyrna. How do you pronounce it?
So grew up in Alpharetta.
Okay.
Way back in Alpharetta.
Gotcha.
And live in Smyrna now.
Back it up. Tell me how it was growing up in that area and parents and all of it.
Yeah. So we grew up in Alpharetta, Georgia. We were in the Milton High School district, which when we were coming through was a big school district, but they weren't great at football. Now they're like phenomenal at football. But so I think when my brother was going into 10th grade, we moved over to a different high school. My parents were willing to we moved houses, like moved across town to Buford High School, one of the top schools in the state, both athletically, academically, like they just perform well in everything. And they're consistently like top 10 in the country in football. And so that was, you go back to talking about how we have such supportive parents, like they were willing to bring us to a school that was going to allow us to have more exposure than we've ever had. College football coaches coming in during spring practice, coming to football games in the fall to recruit. And that was one of those things, like when my dad said, we're going to find a way to make this happen, like they truly like put us in the best position to succeed. And, we are incredibly grateful and our lives are changed forever because of that.
That's awesome. So. And tell me about kind of off the football field right now. And we have so many great mutual friends, and that's how we got connected. Yeah. And you've always seemed to be a huge outdoorsman. You love being outdoors. Mm-hmm. Like, where'd that passion come from?
Yeah. I think growing up in the South, like you just have that in you. Like they're just
ingrained in you, right?
Yeah. Like, I have vivid memories of going to my grandparents' house. My dad grew up in East Tennessee, in Knoxville. We grew up big Tennessee Vol fans.
Ooh.
And I know that pains you as a Florida Gator.
It does.
And for me to sit here as an LSU Tiger is even worse, like 2 negatives, but we'll make it through.
Okay.
I vividly remember going to my grandparents' house in East Tennessee, and they had some friends who had some farmland property. They had all kinds of different animals out there, and we would just ride around out in the pasture doing who knows what. But it's memories like that and experiences like that just make you think fondly about being outdoors. And when I moved down here, it was like this is one of the best places to play golf and go fishing. Like, there are such amazing things to do no matter where you are in the South. My childhood and going and having those experiences, sort of set the course for that. And, I love being outside, love going out, and being out in the yard with the dogs. And, I think there's something healthy about being outside and getting a little bit of vitamin D.
Dude, I totally agree. And we were talking off camera earlier. It's like, that was a big reason that Josh and I know you know Josh Allen as well, like Josh and I wanted to start this show because there is a lifestyle that is coming together that people are all getting behind. And that's kind of it's what we're calling the like a farmer lifestyle. And that's people wanting to be outdoors. It's people wanting to know where their food comes from, right? I mean, I just had Chef Jeremy down in Miami Beach on the show who has a farm, who's got a great restaurant down there. It's people that want to drive a pickup truck. It's people that want to listen to country music. Like, that was the main reasons behind wanting to start the show. And you've been following along with the show. Like, what wanted you to come on the show and kind of share that passion that you have?
I think, number one, you guys have had some pretty amazing guests. Like, I'm incredibly honored that you guys would want to have me on. And so when Bradley connected us and I immediately knew the podcast and had seen you guys' content before. And so that was very exciting to me. And, I think, I get married in July.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Abby,
we're very excited. Yeah.
Shout out Abby.
Sweet Abby.
Sweet Abby.
She is the best. And, so Abby's dad he raises cattle in North Texas.
Okay.
Northwest Texas. And over the 2 years of our relationship, I have started to learn more about what that lifestyle is like and a growing an appreciation for understanding where your food comes from. The fact that I don't know the exact statistic, but the very small percentage of people who create the food and raise the food for all of the United States.
Dude, it's
I don't know what the data
it's like
is,
in our country, and we'll have to do a fact check.
It's like 1% of the population.
It's just over 1% feeds the rest
Feeds
of
the
the
entire country.
98 point something percent.
Exactly. And so as I've been able to see that firsthand, that has helped me grow an understanding and an appreciation for, that lifestyle, because it's not easy. Those people don't do it to make money. They do it for a living and because they have a passion for it, and probably because their dad and their granddad and their great-granddad did it before them. And so, I think that's a long-winded way of answering that question. But, I do appreciate what you guys are doing, because I think that the message that you guys are sharing is incredibly important.
Dude, that's awesome. I really appreciate it. And I like every guest that comes on the show, I try to find like the traits of the farmer and where it relies to the guest. And, you think about who the farmer is, and it's like facing adversity, hard work, grit, never stopping till the job's done, competitiveness. You talk about competitiveness. I mean, that's Blake Ferguson. Part of me thinks that maybe comes from your older brother, who you mentioned, 100%. Reed, being in the NFL 100%. As well. Like, how did that help you, you think, growing up with Reed?
We have competed in everything that we've ever done. Like, all the way back to when we were, toddlers running around, and, whether it was out in the yard playing whatever sport was in season, playing basketball in the driveway, playing video games, we were competing in everything. He beat me at pretty much everything because he was 3 years older than me, and where there came a time where I was able to catch up and close that gap.
Okay.
But for the majority of our childhood, I was scrapping along with him and his buddies who, they just taught me how to overcome a little bit of adversity and, playing against guys who were bigger and taller and faster than me. But I think it's only fitting that we ended up in the NFL on division rival teams competing against each other season in and season out for division championships and world titles, because
it's unbelievable.
Like I think that, that going all the way back to our childhood, like you can't write that story any better.
And look, Blake, I'll be honest with you. You say the word competing against each other for division titles. I mean, the Bills, they kind of – and I'm biased. I'm from the Tampa Bay area, so, like, keep in mind I'm a Bucs fan. But Josh he's a brother to me. So, in the last game last year, holy cow.
We let it slip through our fingertips, man.
We had it.
We had it, and it kind of fell apart at the end of the season last year. But, man, those guys, they've got a great team up there.
Oh, dude,
and,
it's unbelievable.
I think the better team that they have, it only makes us better, and it makes it much more fun to play football. Like, if everybody in the AFC East stunk, like, the product that you'd have on Sundays would fall.
It's so funny for y'all to be brothers and then end up. You talk about a rivalry. I mean the Bills and the Dolphins right now.
It is bitter, and it's been bitter for a long, long time.
Yeah.
When Coach McDaniel first got to Miami, there was a pretty big overhaul on the roster, and from a coaching standpoint, he brought in a lot of new coaches. And one of the things that he did very early on, I think it was our first Bills game when he was the coach, he took us through some of the history of our rivalry with Buffalo and some of the important games, some of the important moments, in that rivalry. And it helped the new guys get an appreciation for, like, what kind of environment that they were walking into that upcoming Sunday. And we ended up beating them. But, I think that rivalry in sports is, like, as good as it gets. Like, you think about North Carolina, Duke, Florida, some of the basically Florida against everybody.
Everybody,
yeah.
Florida versus everybody, baby.
Exactly, and that's how it's always going to be.
Yeah.
But you think about some of those old rivalries that go way back, and, like, that's what makes sports amazing, because
couldn't agree more.
It's players, it's coaches, it's fans. Like, I think that a lot of times there's a misconception of, like, oh, this guy plays for the Dolphins, but, like, he doesn't care, who, like, he doesn't care about the rivalry because he hasn't, he didn't choose to be here. He was drafted here, whatever. But, like, rivalry games are still important to the players. And, like, we want to beat Buffalo. We want to beat New England. We want to beat the Jets more than anybody. Yeah. Like, because those are our rivals, and they don't like us as much as we don't like them, because we see them a lot. Like, we see them twice a year, potentially 3. Like, there have been years where we played Buffalo 3 times in a season, and, like, we don't like them.
It's cool that Coach McDaniels did that, and you've played for some great coaches. I can't wait to get into that.
Yeah.
Overcoming adversity, you just mentioned that, and your brother taught you a lot of that, him and his buddies growing up. 2011 comes, and you get some news that you have been very vocal about, which I appreciate a lot. You ended up with type 1 diabetes in 2011, and I guess at that time
I was about halfway through my 8th grade year.
Yeah. I mean, tell me when you heard the news, and just tell me how that felt.
Yeah, that was very jarring for me and my family, and it just was a moment of, like, okay, this is new. This is this put my whole world on pause for a minute, because now everything that I had aspirations of and enjoyed doing was, like, all of a sudden thrown in the air. And my mom likes to tell a story all the time about so we went to see my family practice doctor who did the blood work, and it came back like my blood sugar was like 700 something, like astronomically high. I think so. Normal blood sugar is from somewhere between 80 and 150.
Yeah.
And so you want to be right around 100. Mine was like 7 times that. And so I was probably 200 or 300 points away from like going into serious like diabetic shock. And so we were going down to, he referred us down to the Children's Hospital in downtown Atlanta. And on the way there, my mom likes to tell a story about how she looks over and I'm like on my phone and I'm Googling like NFL players with type 1 diabetes, because I wanted that reassurance that the goals and the aspirations and the dreams that I had since I was able to walk were still going to be able to come true. And fortunately now I can be a name on that list when there's a kid who's diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and wants to know if he can be a professional athlete, he or she can be a professional athlete. Like, I'm another person that can stand here and say, it is possible. Like, there is nothing about this disease that you are now living with that can stop you. And
right, that's an unbelievable story.
I appreciate that. And you know, from the onset, I was determined to not allow it to be a hindrance. And I'm sure that that's just from the mentality that my parents sort of instilled in both my brother and I. But it didn't really matter what it was. Like, it was, I'm very, very blessed and fortunate that it's a disease that I can live with and manage, and that it wasn't, you know, some sort of terminal cancer or something like that that you may not be able to overcome. But I wasn't going to allow it to keep me from experiencing the beauty of playing in the NFL and achieving a goal, you know, just because it was difficult and it, you know, a little bit of adversity. Coach McDaniel has a quote in our building that adversity is an opportunity, and he says it all the time. And I think it's true. Like, adversity can be an opportunity for amazing things if you allow it to be, or it can hold you back and you can never, you know, achieve what you probably should have. And so I think that's an awesome reminder that, like, just because things aren't going the way you expected it to, or things aren't going the way that you planned, doesn't mean that you have to stop there.
It's a great quote. And what about this quote? If you keep getting up, you can't lose.
That's right.
What does that quote mean to you?
You know, you can be knocked down 999 times, but if you get up on that 1,000th time, like, you can't be beat. You can't be beaten. And so, you know, I think that if you just keep getting up, keep showing up, you keep your nose on the grindstone, like, at some point you will see the fruits of your labor. You know, it may not, like I said, it may not always look like you wanted it to look, but you will reap the rewards of that.
Yeah. And tell me, and just because we talk about, you're built like a farmer, I mean, having those traits, I mean, seriously. And, like, when you think about adversity, like, when you get that call, you're in 8th grade, and now you're dealing with it, and it just is what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, the physical and mental part of that to continue to fight and be in the NFL, I mean, how do you even go about doing that on an everyday basis? Yeah, I mean,
it took a lot of learning at first. I was learning what my life looked like now, and I just figured it out. It was trial and error, and you know, I'm very fortunate that my parents were there to assist with whatever I needed, but I tried to be as independent as possible from the jump, because I knew at some point I was going to be living on my own and didn't have my mom sitting there to count the carbohydrates in my dinner, and I was going to have to do that myself. And so I tried to be, from the very beginning, very, very independent with with this disease. And I had coaches who were they were very responsive to, if I needed to do something, or, if there was some sort of different, like if I needed to carry an emergency bag or whatever, like they made sure that I had what I needed. But I try, and I still do try to, I try to make it as if I am no different from anybody else. Like my goal is for the little kids in the community to know that I have type 1 diabetes, so that they can grow up and be the next Blake Ferguson or Jay Cutler or whoever else, with type 1. But I don't want my teammates to be like, oh, he's got diabetes, he has to sit out of workouts, he is only at practice part of the time, he has missed game reps. Like, I never want that to be an excuse. I never want it to be he has special treatment, because I don't need that. Like, I don't think I deserve to deserve that. And, that's just how I operate. And I've been fortunate that I haven't had any, serious issues to this point. But I think that being very, very diligent with my blood sugar and my preparation throughout the week leading up to a game puts me in a good position to not have it be an issue once we get to game day.
Yeah. Badass, man. Hey, y'all, it's Pat, and I'm back to talk about my great partner, Fresh from Florida. Food tastes better when it's grown closer to home. That's why when you look for the Fresh from Florida logo where you shop, you can rest assured that you'll find the freshest, best tasting, and highest quality produce you can get. In the field one day and at the store the next, Fresh from Florida produce goes directly from Florida farmers to you. And right now, sweet Florida watermelon, crunchy Florida sweet corn, and juicy Florida tomatoes are all in peak season, which means they're at peak perfection with flavors as vibrant as Florida's landscape. So if you want to step up your summer recipe with maybe a Florida watermelon and mozzarella salad, or maybe you're ready to fire up the grill, throw some of that sweet corn on it, or maybe you're looking for something simple like a cheesy baked Florida tomato, which is my favorite, with a little bit extra cheese, obviously. Go to freshfromflorida.com to get free and delicious recipes like these. And while you're there, you might as well check out to see what else is in season and see how you can support our Fresh from Florida farmers. And as always, don't forget, there is sunshine in every bite. Hey, y'all, it's Pat, and I'm here to talk about one of my favorite companies in the world, Ag America. Ag America is your go-to financial partner for all things agriculture. As the largest independent financial firm dedicated to rural America, Ag America is changing the game of ag lending and leveling up financing options for farmers, ranchers, and landowners all across the nation. And I'll let you in on a little secret. The thing that sets this company apart from the rest is the people. They understand firsthand the unique needs of American farmers and ranchers because many of them grew up on farms themselves. They take a farmer-focused approach to finance, prioritizing relationships over transactions to help you build a stronger financial foundation for not only yourself, but for your family. So whether you're looking to buy land or secure working capital, Ag America has your back. Visit agamerica.com today to learn more and see how they can help you achieve long-term financial success. Because don't ever forget, when farmers thrive, we all do. That story about your mom looking over and you're looking up who NFL players that have diabetes, that's great, man.
And that just that reassured me that I was going to be able to do it. And I was very fortunate. My uncle, who was living in Tampa at the time, he had a friend from their church who was he was in the Yankees farm system playing there in Tampa, and he had type 1 diabetes. His name was Brad Suttle, played at UT Austin and then was with the Yankees for several years. But so he had type 1, and he was kind enough to reach out to me and just say, the exact message that I am now sharing with the world is, there is nothing about this disease that can stop you. Like you can do it. And I have one of Brad's Louisville Slugger bats up in my house, which
awesome,
I think is pretty cool. But, it just, that message to me, I think helped sort of spur me on to be great at what I do. And I'm trying to now pass that baton forward to the next person who will come along and do amazing things, hopefully even more amazing than what I've been able to achieve.
I was just about to say, I think stuff like that helps you achieve your goals, in my opinion. I mean, if that don't happen, you might not be in the NFL.
100%.
And before we get into the football side of Blake Ferguson, I want to play a game on the show. It's called This or That.
All right.
So I'm going to ask you a few this or that questions, and I'll let you ask me one. All right, question one. You're a big outdoors guy. You going hunting or fishing?
Fishing, for sure.
What's your dream fishing trip?
So my fiance and I, we're going to the Bahamas for our honeymoon, and I think we're going to do some deep sea fishing.
I've
never been deep sea fishing before. But there are some excursions that our resort that we're staying at has partnered with that you can go and do. The Dolphins actually have a fundraiser that they do with the hospital here locally, but I haven't been able to. The dates haven't worked out right for me to go on the deep sea fishing trip with the team, but I'm super excited about going and doing that this summer because I've never experienced it before. My dad used to go a bunch when I was little, but it was when I was in school, so I couldn't miss. But that's probably like what I would want to do. I'm fishing these little canals through here. Like I have a canal that runs right in front of my house. We're super blessed. Like there's a lot of waterways, and
a lot of good
places,
fishing too.
Little places to fish. But there's a canal that runs right at the front of my neighborhood, and there's a little bridge that you cross over to get into our neighborhood, and so you can go stand right on top of that bridge and fish kind of down at all the creatures that sit underneath there. That's what I love to do, and it's a mindless thing. It helps me sort of decompress, and it takes the stress out of a long day at football or whatever's going on during the season, because we've got a lot on our plate from July to February, and finding those things that are just like stress relief is huge.
Yeah, and it's cool that a lot of people tend to aim for the outdoors when it comes to that. I love that. Next one, who's a better long snapper, Blake Ferguson or Reed Ferguson?
I'm higher paid.
Okay. I mean, data speaks for itself, man. The bank speaks for itself.
I can't stack up to him just yet in terms of years in the league. So that's a tough metric to compare. But no, he's phenomenal. He is as good as they come.
Captain.
And this time next year, he'll probably be the top paid in the whole league. So captain. He has been a huge role model for me from the jump. We play the same position. We went to the same college. Like, he has been a huge resource for me as I've come into the league. And, I will always look up to him, even if I'm playing after he is.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so you're here in Miami, and you're going out for the night. Where, going out to the club, bars, whatever. You got to choose one out of these two people to take.
Oh, boy.
You choosing Coach McDaniels or Coach O?
Those are going to be two very different nights.
They're going to be two very different nights.
I think in this day and age, this like where I am in life right now, I'm probably going with Mike McDaniel. But like college days, Coach O. Like beers with the boys, 100%. Now I'm like, all right, I would rather go and sit in like this type of setting and drink some bourbon and be in bed by like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a little more Mike McDaniel, which is interesting because Mike actually doesn't drink anymore. He's got a really, really cool story just about how so very early on in his coaching career, he overcame, a serious drinking issue. And, I think that it's super honorable what he is doing now. But like for an evening to chill and hang out and just like tell some funny stories, he's your guy.
He's the guy.
100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Best college football team between these two teams. And you know where I'm going with this, and I hope you're not biased. 2008 Florida Gators.
Oh, they're not even top 3.
Led by Tim Tebow, or 2019 LSU Tigers.
That's not even a question. Not even a question, because that Florida team isn't even in the top 3.
Why do you say that? Just because?
What is it? The 2001 Miami
Hurricanes.
Team?
Yeah, but
they're
you're going
2.
off of just some article, like, because you could say
we all are. We're all going off.
You
of
could
just
say
arbitrary
Vince Young
stats
and the Longhorns, but I'm just saying you're a dude. You're a football player. 2008 Florida Gators, and there were some dudes on that team.
Come on, man.
Or the 2019. What do y'all think? Y'all are the best team ever?
I mean, we were 100%. You cannot argue that. Cannot argue it.
I mean, y'all had a squad. Y'all did, but
that was probably the most fun I've ever had playing football in my whole life.
Was it? I mean, it
Yes.
had to have been just a
Yes.
different atmosphere.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Today, I announced that I'm changing my jersey number. We had
From 44 to 48, yeah.
48, yeah. We had a first-round draft
Yeah.
pick, Chop Robinson,
Chop,
who
yeah.
He approached me about wearing his number 44 in Miami.
How does that work, like, when somebody does that? I mean, do you just get a phone call and say, hey, man,
Yeah.
or do you get offered, like, hey, I just got a signing bonus, I'm going to throw you some coin? Or
Yeah. He and I came to an agreement about, changing numbers, and I won't disclose that because we agreed to keep that between us.
Yep.
But yeah, he texted me very early Friday morning about like the day after he got drafted. He was on his way to Miami Gardens to like meet the coaches and everything, and he just said, how excited he was to be part of the team, and that how much the number 44 meant to him and his career. And I had never worn 44 before I was on the Dolphins, and when I picked 44, number 48 was not available. That was what I wore the last 2 years of my college
At
career.
LSU.
That was what I was fortunate enough to be on, a national championship winning team, the best college football team ever. And I was in number 48. Dude, you asked for that.
I did, yeah, you're right.
But as I was sort of considering changing numbers and what I would wear moving forward, it brought up some really cool memories. And like, I was just remembering like how much fun that 2019 season was, because like we walked into every single stadium, home, away, didn't matter. Like, we knew we were going to steamroll everybody. Like, we knew we had it. Joe Brady, just drawing up some magic plays that Joe Burrow just made look easy. And
shout out Joe Brady getting
Jamar
it done
Chase,
now.
Yeah, Joe Brady up in Buffalo
Yeah.
now. That was sad when I saw him go up there, but also very exciting because I know he's an amazing coach and he needed another shot after the Carolina deal. But yeah, I mean, like, it just brought up some really cool memories of like that 2019 season and how much fun that we had just going through that as a team. And now every time I see guys on different sidelines, or we sign a free agent that was on that team, like, we get to remember how much fun that 2019 season was, and we walk together forever because of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So.
You're a big country music guy. Right now, I say there's two guys up top. Country music's such a beautiful genre, man. There's so many great voices out there and great personalities. We've had some great people on this show. Yeah. Whether it's Haley Witters, the Castellos.
She's awesome.
Haley is unbelievable.
She's awesome.
One of my favorite voices in country music is Ian Munzik. Love Ian.
Yep.
Parker McCollum's my guy.
Love Parker.
Obviously Riley, but there's two guys right now that I'm just we're competing right now for the top. You going Luke Combs or Morgan Wallen?
I've been fortunate enough to be around both of these guys. Love both of them to death. Combs is my guy. I've known Combs for probably almost a decade now, but the dude just put 80,000 people in Penn State's stadium.
I saw that.
Up in Happy Valley. Like, he is doing record numbers, and so is Morgan, but the dude is setting records at every single stadium that he's going to, and, like, you can't argue that. Like, that is – I'm so excited for what he has been able to do for country music. And I feel like that he is doing it the right way. He and his manager, Cappy, have kept a mentality of keeping the fans first always. And they treat every single person that comes to the show, whether there's 50 people or 50,000 people, they treat them the same, because every person that is there is a reason why they've had the success that they've had. And so that's why you see the ticket sales are still, like, the prices are still low. Like, they open up tickets at the last minute, before shows, like the day before shows, so that the people who missed out on tickets don't have to buy scalped tickets for, 4 times the price. And it's just that sort of mentality that I love and appreciate from Luke and his team. And the more I've been around Luke and his guys, and even just even the crew, like the guys who work in the behind the camera, and the guy, his name's Zeus, he runs their monitors.
Yeah.
Like those guys are also as good as they come. Just salt of the earth people, great human beings. And they are also amazing at their jobs, like, at the same time. So it's really, really cool, the team that they've built. And I have a real appreciation for, like, the intentionality with which they put good people around them. And, like, Jamie Davis, who's now stage right with Luke, he used to be Luke's guitar tech. And Luke's guitar tech now used to be the stage guy. But, like, those guys are all really good human beings. They're all really fun to be around, and they will find a spot for you. Like, they will, if you're a good person and you are a hard worker and you have the traits of a farmer that you were talking about, they'll find a spot for you. And so that is what I think has been really cool as I've gotten to know them more, is like, there is a method to the madness. And as the shows get bigger and bigger, it's like even more rewarding, to be able to see that for them.
I love that.
So.
Man, there's so many great people right now playing country music.
Yes.
I got to meet Jelly Roll for the first time.
That's my guy, man.
At Augusta.
I freaking love Jelly. Like,
salt of the earth human being, man.
Yeah.
Coming on the show.
Man,
you've got to hang.
I can't wait to listen to that.
You got to hang out with Jelly. We talked a little bit about that. I mean, tell me about. There's that story you said first time that y'all met. I want to hear that.
Yeah, Jelly.
Because it was down here, right?
Yes, and it was at Tortuga, and he and I. So going back to before Jelly and I met, he and I had connected through social media. I am a really big fan of Ernest, and I knew that Ernest had written or was co-write on the Son of a Sinner song. And that was like where I first heard of Jelly Roll. Like, didn't know a thing about him because I wasn't really into the hip hop thing. But when I came across Jelly, I was like, dang, I really like his voice, like really into what this dude is putting out. This is like before this big, this last album came out. And so I connected with him on social media and just, got to see him. He was playing at the Opry and he was doing like amazing things. And so I was like, I want to meet this guy. Like I want to connect with him somewhere. Like I have to meet him somewhere. And sure enough, we were able to cross paths at Tortuga, and I met him backstage after his set at Tortuga, and we're all sticking around. Morgan was playing that night, and Jelly was like, hey, he was like, here, give me your number. I'm going to go back to the bus and take a shower, change my clothes. Well, I'll catch up with you guys later. I was like, perfect. Like, cool. I don't remember who we went to watch after that, but I remember standing there and I got a text message on my phone and it just said, it was a random 615 number and it said, "It's Jelly, brother. Come take tequila shots."
That's great,
and
man.
I was like, that's him.
That's
like
Jelly.
There's no mistaking who this is. Like that. There's only one way to make an entrance when you're introducing yourself to somebody. And so, but I would say I've been around Jelly a couple of times, and it is really cool to see the success that he's having, because you can, like, his energy is infectious. Like his heart is so big. And he just loves people. Like every single person that he meets is the most important person to him.
Bro, when I met him, it was like we've known each other for 10 years.
And he's like that with everybody. He is unbelievable. Like you never catch him in a bad moment. And I'm sure he's got bad days, but you would never know it. And I think that's like, as an artist, that's got to be incredible.
We'd like to take a minute to talk about Blue Otter sunglasses. Blue Otter sunglasses are the shades of choice for country superstars like Luke Combs, Cody Johnson, Riley Green, and Hardy. With Carl Zeiss scratch-resistant lenses, Blue Otter has partnered with Ag America to create the Like a Farmer frames, which benefit farmers and ranchers in rural communities. 10% of each purchase of the Like a Farmer Blue Otter sunglasses goes to Ag America Giving. Go to blueotterpolarized.com and search Like a Farmer. You can also go to likeafarmer.com and click on merch.
But yeah, I love that dude, man.
I do too.
I love Jelly.
Awesome.
His band and guys are so cool. Like they're a vastly different style of hang and style of like
100%,
hang out after the show. But like those.
But
guys,
you're hanging though.
Yeah.
You're having a good time for sure.
Yes. And those guys, they know how to get down for sure.
Love that.
I can't wait till you have them on your show.
I know, man. I'm pumped.
It's going to be
pumped.
Awesome.
All right, so you ask me one, this or that.
So I know you're from Tampa, but if you had to pick Dolphins or Patriots.
Blake, that is such a great question. So my mom, I'm going to tell a story about my mom now. My mom is the most beautiful heart in the world. She raised 3 boys by herself. Just an unbelievable woman. So I've got a younger brother, Alex, and an older brother, Christian, and I'm like the only brother with curly hair. Like I've got curly hair. And growing up, my mom's joke was, well, yeah, you don't have the same dad as Christian and Alex. Your dad is actually Dan Marino.
Oh.
Because she loved Dan Marino.
Yeah, there's like a whole generation of women
that
who are
love
just
Dan.
like fanatical about Dan Marino.
Correct. So, I have this soft spot for the Miami Dolphins. And then on the flip side, growing up as a huge football fan, like you hate Tom Brady. Bro, Tom Brady beats you. He wins all the time. Like, Tom, I hate you.
Yeah.
Well, then Tom leaves New England, and where does he come? He comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby.
He melted your heart,
and now I want to name my first son after Tom Brady because, he comes in, he wins a championship for the Buccaneers. Yeah. So, with that being said, Tom, I love you, but I'm always going to go with my mom, so I'm going to choose the Miami Dolphins.
Okay. All right, I've got another one.
Okay.
Florida guy, So I told you I grew up a Tennessee fan, went to LSU. Which opposing stadium would you rather go to for a night game? Neyland Stadium or Tiger Stadium?
To go just to experience,
As a Florida
or to
fan,
go to
no,
win?
No.
Because, brother, Death Valley, because, listen, and, you know, I've got great family and friends that went to Clemson. They call them Death Valley. There's one Death Valley, and that is in Baton Rouge,
That's right,
Louisiana.
baby. That's right,
so
baby.
I'd rather go there because, I mean, I'm more likely going to get a win in Knoxville. Can't stand Tennessee. But just a football game in the night stadium at Death Valley, Baton Rouge, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. I was thinking about it more from the standpoint of like it being an opposing fan and like the experience that you'd have.
Than Death Valley. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's football to its finest.
Yeah, I'll never forget in 2018 we played Georgia. They were like number 2 or 3 in the country, and we beat them at home in Baton Rouge, and the student section stormed the field. It was awesome because I don't think we were ranked at that point in time. And all of my friends who were from Georgia people came to the game, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, LSU fans are so rude. They threw stuff at us. They flipped us the bird." I'm like, did you not do your research on what going into Tiger Stadium, Death Valley is like? Like, it kind of comes with the territory.
It
like
does.
Pre-game, they will welcome you to the tailgate. They'll give you a beer and a bowl of jambalaya.
And unbelievable food, right? I mean, it's
in
just,
the game, different story.
yeah, nothing to them.
Different
You're
story.
right. I mean,
It is the most raucous environment I've ever played in. And I am a little biased, but I'm saying that as somebody who was pelted with little airplane bottles of urine in Gainesville, Florida.
I've heard that multiple times. That must be a thing.
Well, yeah, because the student section is right behind our is right behind our sideline in Gainesville. No other team in the SEC besides Auburn does it. No other team in the SEC has the opposing student section behind the away bench. That is very intentional. Very intentional. It's also the shortest sideline in the entire SEC. So you're sitting on the bench, and the student section can like almost reach down and like touch you. And so I'm like standing on the sideline. I don't even remember if we had the ball or not, but I just remember getting like every so often, little airplane Jack Daniel's bottle of urine would on my helmet.
God, I've heard that.
I didn't take my helmet off very much.
I've heard that way too many times. Let's get back to it. So, football.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done with high school, and why LSU? I mean, what led you to go be an LSU Tiger?
Well, so I think first and foremost, my brother had already been there for 3 years, and I as I was going through my recruiting process, was also going to a ton of LSU games, and so as I was sort of going through that process, I started to I was falling in love with LSU. Like I was sold when Reed decided he was going to Baton Rouge. Like I was going to be an LSU fan, but I also had to figure out where was the best school for me, because I was starting to get invitations to come on visits to Tennessee and Florida and Stanford and Oregon and Georgia and all these other places that when I went on visits there, I kept comparing back to Baton Rouge. Is this better than Baton Rouge? Is this better than Saturday night in Death Valley? Is this are the people here and the food here and the quality of life here, is it better than what I could get in Baton Rouge? And for me, I couldn't find that anywhere else. And so when it came time to make a decision, there was no decision for me. Like it was always going to be Baton Rouge, because I was always sort of doing that mental comparison. And And it just so happened that I was able to overlap with my brother for a year, which was really cool. We had never been on the same team before. He's 3 years older than me. And so like in high school, I was like on the freshman team and he was a senior on the varsity team. And before that, like we always were just like I was like on my little 4th grade team and he was on his 7th grade team or whatever. And so it just never lined up for us to be on the same team before. And so that 2015 season for us to overlap for a season was really, really cool. And then I was able to play for 4 years after that, cap it off with a national championship win. It did not come without its fair share of adversity. We had to fire Coach Les Miles. We lost to Troy like the very next season. I was a captain for the game we lost to Troy. That was my first game as a captain.
Oh.
And I like that is like one of the lowest points in my whole football career because it was so embarrassing. Like we lost to Troy. And so like but I do think that it set the framework for digging us out. Like that was truly rock bottom for us as a program, was in 2017 when we lost to Troy. Very next week, where do we go?
The University of Florida.
And we beat University of Florida following a loss to Troy. But I do think like it started to build from there towards what ultimately was the mountaintop of winning the national championship in 2019. It just took a little bit of time to get there because that was Coach O's first season as like the permanent head coach. He took over in 2016, like halfway through. And so like that wasn't his recruiting classes or anything like that. So it took a little bit of time to get there, but I do think that like moment in time sort of helped. That was like one of the key pillars of like setting the framework for an eventual national championship win.
How was it to win a national championship in college? Like when that clock hit 0 and the confetti
just tears, dude. Like,
yeah, I mean
because of what we had been through.
Because you're in the South too. You grew up in the South. Like it's college football for the most part in the South, and to win a national championship is the mecca of really any sports. I mean, it's the college football championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
yeah, and we were fortunate enough to be doing it in New Orleans, which was even better. Like, it was 70% LSU fans in that stadium.
I forgot about that.
Which
Against Clemson.
Cooler. Against Clemson.
Yeah.
It was loud.
And after the game, whooping too, right?
I don't remember the final score, but it was I don't remember it being particularly
42-25.
Yeah. And they actually started. I think they were beating us like 10-0.
Yeah, they were in the beginning. Yeah,
14-0 or something like that.
They still had T-Law.
Yep.
Right,
Yep. He came out the next year.
Gotcha.
He was not in our class, but I just think like being from the South, like you see like SEC winning national championships every year. Like it was the coolest thing ever. Like I just remember like the clock hit 0 and it was like that point in time just like froze for a minute. And like I just remember I was like crouched over on the sideline just like in tears because of all of the adversity and all of the tough workouts, the tough days, the hard times that we fought through and ultimately came out the opposite side successful. And that sort of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with adversity and like keeping your nose on the grindstone, because it's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to look like you want it to look, but at some point you will come out on the other side successful.
That's awesome.
And that was like really freaking special. Yeah. I mean, going back and looking at like my national championship rings and stuff, like that's something that they can never take away. And it goes in, in history books forever. And our little plaque is outside the stadium there at Tiger Stadium with my name on it. And like,
it's a great football team.
I'll get to take my little boy or little girl there someday, hopefully, But, yeah, it was amazing. Like that was as good as it gets, and hopefully can do it at the professional level too.
Did you meet Abby at LSU?
No, I didn't. So Abby and I met actually through some country music friends.
Okay.
So she's from Texas. She, throughout college, became a huge Flatland Cavalry fan.
Okay, yeah, Flatland.
I know,
Dylan manages
Dylan,
Flatland.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he does Dylan Carmichael too. Great friend of mine as well.
Yeah, Dylan. So Dylan does manage both of them, but I met Flatland at a Luke show. Became buddies with them. Loved their music. Loved their style. I didn't know anything about like the red dirt scene, the Texas country scene. I knew Cody Johnson music, and that was like all I knew about Texas, and George Strait. Yeah. But she had been a Flatland fan forever, since they started in Lubbock, and so she's been to Flatland shows where they had 50 people there. And now they're playing they just announced they're playing Red Rocks in the fall. And so I became buddies with them after that weekend in Orange Beach at the Wharf, and went to a couple shows, and I happened to be in a picture with their drummer and on somebody's Instagram, and she came across it. It was like, who, like this guy, he was the only one, I was the only one in the picture that she didn't recognize because it was all like Flatland guys. And so that was like the beginning of like where that started.
And she was like, who is this stud,
And so then their drummer, Jason, sort of connected us, and now we're about to get married.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was cool because like that helped us have something to bond over as we were doing a long distance relationship. Was like one of the things that we both love so much is country music, and we love going to shows together. We love just like sending each other new music, and like that was sort of the very beginnings of our relationship, was bonding over country music. And we realized that not only were we growing like in a romantic way, but we were like becoming really, really good friends. And like she is my best friend 100%. And so like I think that's amazing. And like I think it might be super corny or super cheesy, but I think that's super, super special when you can find somebody that not only are you just like madly in love with, but like y'all share things that you think are special, that you both enjoy doing together. And for us, that's country music. And now she's like becoming a golf fan, and I'm like, this is everything I could have ever wanted. Cause I like I grew up like watching golf and playing golf with my dad. And, and so now she's like, will you please take me golfing? Like I want to go golf. And so it's like double whammy.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. I went to left field on that. So obviously you get it done at LSU.
Yeah.
Draft day comes, and as a long snapper, like I mentioned, it doesn't happen all the time that a long snapper gets drafted.
Right.
You get drafted to the Miami Dolphins. How does that feel?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. And that was right in the thick of COVID. 2019 capped off the season. It was like January of 2020 with a national championship win. And then like 2 months later, we were on like total lockdown. And I was fortunate enough, I was able to do the Senior Bowl and the Combine before the world completely shut down. But like everything just was like thrown up in the air, and I'm like trying to figure out like what this all means for my football career. Like I knew we were going to have a football season, but I wasn't sure like how that would look. And I think we were all kind of trying to figure out what COVID was going to be like. But getting to draft day and getting that phone call was an experience that like I will never forget as long as I live. Sitting there on the couch on day 3 and you're like seeing the picks roll off the board, and I've got like my 2 boys, like my best friends from LSU. We have our little group message, and as the draft is going along, my goal was to be, it was like my phone background. It was written on my mirror in my bathroom. I wanted to be pick number 165 or higher. I had number 165 on my phone screen. I had number 165 on my mirror, like, because the highest a long snapper had ever been drafted up until that point was 166. So I wanted to be 165 or higher, like totally changed the game. 165 came and went, which funny story on that. Sorry, I know this is a little long-winded, but funny story on that. So 160, around 160, 161, we're sitting there, and it's about lunchtime at this point, starting to get hungry. Walk into the kitchen. This is at my brother's house. We were all sitting around watching, and I didn't take my phone with me. I don't know why I didn't take my phone with me. Like during the draft, I didn't take it into the other room with me, but I had my watch on. So I had my Apple Watch on. So my watch starts buzzing, and I'm in there like at the charcuterie board, just like, eating crackers. My watch starts buzzing, and I start to like run back into the other room because I could tell I was getting a phone call, and I look down and it's my mom. She was pranking, like my mom was she was screwing with me, dude.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I was so pissed. I was so mad. And now it's like hilarious because like I got drafted, everything worked out, and it just was like a funny moment. But she was trying to lighten the mood a little bit, and I was not having it at all. Like not having it. So 165 comes and goes. And 180, I'm gonna go back to my boys, my best friends. 181, 182 starts to sort of sneak up, and one of the teams that we knew had a lot of draft picks was the Miami Dolphins. So Miami Dolphins were getting ready to come up, and my buddy Kylie, he texts in our group and says, this is the first time all day anybody had mentioned like a specific pick or like, do you think, he says Miami at 185 ? And literally not 30 seconds later, a Miami Dolphins phone number starts calling my phone. Like he called it. He called it. And so like that, I just going back and remembering like how cool that felt, and like being able to celebrate like him, like he called it 100%. And, just remembering getting the call from Chris Greer, our GM, and then talking to Coach Flo, who was our head coach at the time, and just going through that whole process of like being welcomed with open arms to South Florida, and getting to learn about a new place that I had been once in my whole life. And, it was just such a cool experience, and everybody's got their own story. My brother went undrafted and has played 9 years in the league.
Same with James Winchester, who's
James
on
Winchester, our fullback Alec Ingold, who I think is now the highest paid fullback in the league, undrafted guy. Raheem Mostert, undrafted guy.
Stud.
There are so many different like stories and like everybody's got their own little journey and path to playing in the NFL. And even in the NFL, like having success, because Raheem, he didn't start having like real true success. It was until he got to San Francisco, like year 6 in the league. And so, everybody's got their own little story, but I think mine's pretty freaking cool.
Bro, and you're in a great spot too. And you talk about long snappers in Miami. John Denny. 14 years,
Yeah, man.
224 consecutive starts.
Yeah.
And you're on the track too. I mean,
he's like 6'6", and he's huge. And I like, not just literally, but I do have big shoes to fill. Like, he is one of the greatest to ever do it. And so our kicker, Jason, was here with John for a year. John's last season with the Dolphins, Jason was here with him. And so Jason, like, to this day still razzes me and is like, well, you know, John would have run one more sprint. John would have done this. John would have done that. And he picks at me. But truly, like, he is a great person to model a career and model a work ethic after, because the dude was a workhorse. Like, our strength coach tells me all the time about, like, what John used to do, in his off time, and he used to just be up there crushing workouts all the time. Beef. The dude was like shredded. Like, if you look at pictures of John, he's like veins. He looks like Riley Green with shoulder pads on. Like,
that's great.
Plus maybe like 30 pounds. But
Riley gets after it, man. He likes to get in the gym.
Yeah. I saw Riley doing a workout one time when I went to one of his shows. But yeah, the guy, he does get after it.
Yeah.
But yeah, John, he's one of the best to ever do it. And so I hope to even have a fraction of the amount of success that he had throughout his career.
Y'all have had some dudes on that team. You got some dudes on the team now. How do you feel about the Miami Dolphins for this upcoming season?
Great, man. Like, we had to lose a lot of guys that I loved and enjoyed being on the team with. Because my draft class, this was just finished year 4. This was the year that everybody became a free agent. I was fortunate enough to sign my extension before last season, so I was not up for contract talks this offseason, but everybody that I came in with, they were all free agents. So we lost a lot of those guys, and that was really hard, but we filled the gaps that those guys left behind really, really well. And we've kept so many of our, like, key pieces together. Offensively, I mean, it's still going to be fireworks. Like, there are so many talented players on the offensive side of the ball. I'm excited. I personally am excited to see what our defense does, because it's a new coach, new system, a lot of new players, because a lot of the guys that were in my draft class that left are defensive guys. And I'm really excited to see what those guys do, because it's new to me. It's new to everybody. You kind of know what to expect now with Tua and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, and the list
it goes on.
Yeah. But for me, being able to see what we do defensively is very exciting.
It's tough for me because I have this platform and I bring all of these different individuals, whether it's athletes or country musicians or, whoever, actresses. We've had them all on this show. And on the athlete side, I get these great people that come on the show, and I have a responsibility to cheer them on in their profession. Like, yeah. I enjoy sitting here just talking. You're just a great human being. And I've spent a few times with this community down here in South Florida, and they deserve a championship. They really do. Yeah, and do. Then, I spend all the time, like, Josh is a brother. I mean, Buffalo deserves a championship. Yeah. So it's just so hard. But
yeah.
South Florida, I mean, y'all deserve a championship down here, and I hope y'all get one.
Yeah,
or not.
Me too. There's, like, a lot of really, really cool stuff happening in South Florida, and I think if we were to be able to bring a Super Bowl championship to town, like, that would just – this place would explode, truly, because there are so many fans. Like, most fans that I met my first 2 years in the league were either fans from the 70s, right after the undefeated team.
Yeah, Shula.
Or the 90s, because everybody loved Marino.
Damn. Yeah.
And then up until I got here, it was like there was not a whole lot to cheer about by way of the Dolphins. And so now it's like, okay, there's this new energy about the Dolphins. There's this, they're winning a lot of football games. They're flashy. They've got the firepower, but in order for all of that to be important and valuable, we have to do something with it, and we have to win. And if we were to be able to do that, those fans from the 70s and the 90s who are just craving a championship, the place would explode. Because that's the thing about Dan is Dan was the greatest quarterback to never do it. So it's been since the early 70s since this place has tasted a world championship. And I think that we can do it with the squad that we have.
I think y'all have something brewing down here in South Florida. I'm excited to watch it. Appreciate you coming on the show today, dude. Man. I mean, I literally could sit here and talk to you for hours.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fantastic. So
yeah.
Really appreciate it, and I look forward to watching you on the football field. But I look forward to seeing what you do off the football field, what you're doing with the diabetes thing, the veteran thing. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff going on with veterans. You are a man of the people, and I can see that.
Thank you.
I really
appreciate that.
So thank you for everything you do. Thank you all for always tuning in. Continue to follow us on this journey, whether it's through YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music. Like, comment, share. Do whatever you got to do to be like a farmer.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. In 2 clinical studies, Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, provided 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks in 7 out of 10 adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. In a study, nearly 7 out of 10 patients with 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks were still clearer at 5 years. At 1 year and thereafter, patients and healthcare providers knew that Tremfya was being used. This may have increased results. Results may vary.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms of infection, including fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough. Tell your doctor if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Learn more about Tremfya, including important safety information, at tremfya.com or call 1-877-578-3527. See our ad in Food and Wine magazine. For patients prescribed Tremfya, cost support may be available.